So hi there again everyone, this is again Alan and welcome back to my channel. Today here in the Philippines, we are now on our 4th week of the quarantine and I hope you guys are all safe and sound at home. For those who watched my sketchbook tour last week, I know you guys are waiting for my paper review today, but unfortunately I'm still on the process of arranging the system of my paper reviews, so I'm postponing it for the meantime. But I am gonna be reviewing today a very interesting material, and that is no other than the ArtGraf Water-Soluble Tailor Shape from Portugal. I got these sets at artwhale.com. And currently they have 3 sets available. They have the earth set, the primary color set, and the black and white and gray set. But I was only able to get the earth color set and the primary color set. The earth color set is 1,250 Philippine pesos or roughly 24 US dollars, and that makes per color 208 Philippine pesos or roughly 4 US dollars, while the primary color set is 700 Philippine pesos or roughly 13.5 US dollars, or that's 233 per color or 4.5 US dollars. Aside from Artwhale, it's also available at Amazon US, and I'm gonna be placing the useful links at the description box so you can access them directly. ArtGraf Viarco are not calling these as watercolors or graphite because I believe they have a different and separate line for that, and I actually have one. This is their ArtGraf Viarco watercolor graphite, and I'm gonna be reviewing this separately. So what they're calling these is as a tailor shape that is water soluble. I find the packaging really unique because this is my first time to see a palette that is made out of cork, and this palette is protected by a plastic cover wherein you can find the brand and the line, and it also says here it's Portuguese pencil factory. So it says here ArtGraf Viarco Portuguese pencil factory since 1907. It says here inspired in the traditional tailor's chalk, ArtGraf Tailor Shape, it's a rich pigment block prepared for drawing and painting. Extremely soft and water soluble, provides the artist a wide range of shades from light ones to deep and opaque colors. ArtGraf Tailor Shape, it's an artist's excellent tool for drawing and painting. So here are the color names for the earth colors. So here is the website, and it says here it's non-toxic and conforms to ASTM D4236. For the primary color set, you can find the same information. They did not provide any pigment information or light fastness rating in their packaging or even at their website, so I contacted them directly and asked this information, and they replied luckily. So here is their response. Regarding light fastness, at the moment we can provide the information given by our pigment suppliers. We are planning to get our products evaluated according to ASTM standards in the near future. And looking at their chart, all the 9 colors are very light fast or excellent in light fastness. The only colors that are rated 7/8 are the red and the sanguine, and all the others are perfectly rated as 8/8. So now let's take a look at the blocks. So here's an individual block. The brand and the line is beautifully carved in both sides. I think this is around 2 by 1.5 inches. I have here a half pan, a full pan, and the pan from Gansai Tambi. So for around 233 or 208 Philippine pesos or around 4 US dollars, I believe this is really a lot. And since this is inspired by, tailor's chalk, I believe this has this chalky texture. So the bars easily give stain to your hand, to your skin. But you can see the color is very intense. And so now for our swatch sheet, I'm using as usual ArtGraf 185 cold pressed cotton paper, and We are not rewetting our blocks prior to painting to be fair with the other paints that we have reviewed before. So I think we're ready to start. So let's start with Sanguine. So this is very thick, or I mean opaque, and it's so easy to rewet. And it looks like Indian red. Next we have ochre. This is a beautiful earthy yellow, but I'm just a little bothered because it's made out of 4 pigments. We have sepia. This is very opaque. And also this is made out of 4 pigments. Next we have brown, which uses PR101 and PBK11. This looks like a combination of Indian red and Kaput Mortum. It has this violet iron oxide feel. Next we have dark brown. This is very intense, and I think it's granulating, or is this the are this graphite? I don't know, I'm not sure. They have this grainy but very fine grain feel. Last in the earth set is dark black carbon, which is made out of PBK7. Now we go to the primary color set, and let's start with red. Wow, this is very bright. This is like a fire engine red. It looks like a naphthol red. Next we have yellow, which uses PY74. And lastly we have blue, which uses PB15:1, so that's a phthalo blue. And so while waiting for our colors to dry, let's try to achieve the secondary colors using our primary colors. So let's start with orange. Next, let's try to achieve green. Next, let's try to achieve purple or violet. Though I think we cannot achieve a very bright violet here because our red is warm. Yeah, we have here a very muted purple, almost like a gray, but I really love this kind of purple. So now it's dry. Let me give you a closer look. So now it's time to make our sample painting. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to comment it below because I will be speeding this up to save time. So let's start. So as you can see, the colors move quite nicely, I think. So I think we are done with our sample painting, and this is a closer look. As you can see, it's very loose, but I'm happy with the outcome. Initially, it felt like the paints are like gouache, but I'm happy to achieve this very transparent looking painting. By the way, some of you might be thinking how it fares like a chalk, so let's try some of the colors. So here's the blue. So it's like a chalk or like a soft pastel, but it doesn't make super even colors unless maybe you rub it very hardly. Now let's try red. Yeah, it's like soft pastel or oil pastel. Now let's try to wet it. So yeah, it's super easy to re-wet. So now the sample painting and the swatches are dry. We can now proceed to our assessment. I have a feeling though that they have a tendency to be chalky because they are inspired from a tailor's chalk. So let's see if it will stain my finger. So for this color, there's a little bit of stain. So let's try red. So yes, there is, but not that much. Let's try blue. Yes, there is. And I am expecting this because these are inspired by, as I've said, tailor's chalk. But what's good about it is that the stain is very pigmented, so that means that the transferring of the paint to my finger is caused by the heavy pigment load, not by extenders or by chalk. And now when it comes to our secondary colors, I am happy with the orange and the green, and personally I am okay with these purple because I use a lot of muted purples for my shadows and for my skies. But if you are the type who would like to have, lilac type of purple or carbazole or the magenta looking purple, I don't think you can achieve it here because the red here is very warm, and for you to be able to achieve magenta looking color, you need magenta or PV19 kind of red, or a pinkish or a cool red. And for our experience overall, I'm very happy. I'm very satisfied. I didn't actually expect to achieve this kind of feel when I started painting because of the limited palette. I did not use much of the earth colors. I only used, I think, dark brown and yes, ochre or sepia. I was happy with the primary colors really because it works well, I think, for the type of subjects that I paint, like landscape paintings and heritage structures. I think this will really work. The best quality of the tailor shape, aside from the size, the generous size, is the ability to activate very instantly. I think this is one of the easiest to re-wet out of all the pans or the paints that I've tried. I think I have to put it at least in top 3. I had no problems using them. They're not the fastest moving on paper, but they mix really well. I believe the primary color set of Viarco ArtGraf is very comparable to the primary color set of Daniel Smith. Though they're not the same pigments, I think they can, make the same combinations. And if you want to save up and you can live with just 3 colors, you can have their primary color set. I really think this can go a long way because of its size, and they're very pleasant to use. Again, I'd like to repeat that the company is not calling these as watercolors, but they're calling it as a water-soluble tailor shape or pigment block. But for tradition, of course, we are going to be comparing it with the watercolor paints and brands that we have reviewed. So let's start with I have to say, the chalkiest ever that I've tried. So here, the Best Buy watercolors. You can see the difference on intensity, and you can see that these are very pastel, and when you rub your finger, you can see right away that the chalk or the pigment and the extender is already transferred to your finger. Also, the Simbalayon watercolors, also chalky, but nothing compared to Best Buy. We have Prang, as you can see. Yeah, the Viarco is more pigmented. Superior, Faber-Castell, Mijello, Holbein, Sonnet, Van Gogh, White Knights, Rembrandt, and Daniel Smith. So now, if you're gonna ask me would I recommend these Viarco ArtGraf Tailor Shape paints, my answer is a definite yes. But if you are a beginner, I would suggest you to get a standard and a real watercolor set for you to learn the basics. And once you've already tried that out and learned the basics, I think you can be more adventurous and try this out. And for those who are super interested to trying out the ArtGraf Tailor Shape, I think this is a very good investment because of its size. I think this can really go a long way, and the paints are super easy to use. They're very heavily pigmented, and there's nothing really I can complain about it. The chalkiness or the issue on it staining my fingers is a very minor issue because I think it's because of the pigment load rather than the extenders. I'm also suggesting that if you are using this in a sketchbook, make sure not to paint the opposite side because there's a tendency for the pigments to transfer to the other side, so you don't want to stain your paintings. So now I think we're done. I think that's all for today. If you have any comments, suggestions, reactions, recommendations, just keep them coming. I'd like to hear you, and I have all the time to respond to each one of you. Just stay at home and be safe. Again, thank you very much for watching, and see you next week.